So you started a newsletter and you're doing email marketing for your business. Yay! I am so excited for you. If you've listened to any of the past episodes, you know that this is like my go-to tactic. Now my question for you is, are you getting people to engage as soon as possible? Depending on how often you send out a newsletter, it can be up to a month before someone gets an email from you. And by then, their interest has cooled. So let's talk about keeping their interest peaked as soon as they signed up. So today we're going to talk about driving audience engagement with welcome emails.
Inkyma's Marketing Strategies is a podcast for small business owners hosted by Audrey Kirchner, co-founder and chief marketing strategist at Inkyma, helping you navigate the world of marketing so that you can market your business in the right way, see growth, and thrive regardless of the industry you're in. To learn more about Inkyma and what we do, ask a question, or schedule a marketing evaluation, go to the website inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. Listen to the show on your podcast player of choice, the Inkyma website, or the Inkyma YouTube channel. Just search for Inkyma Marketing Strategies and you'll find what you need.
Okay, so before we get started, let's talk about links and show notes and all that other good stuff. So I'm going to talk to you about past episodes, links to other things. All of that is in the show notes on our website at inkyma.com. Just go there, click through the list. There's always a lot of good information in the show notes. So a lot of times people will go through, they'll read the title, and they'll look at the links and the summary and may not even listen to the whole show, which I'm totally fine with. If you get what you need from the show notes, I am a happy camper. If you have listened to past episodes, I talk a lot about email marketing and its benefits and the tools that we like to use. So hopefully that has inspired you to take that leap and start email marketing and do all that great stuff. If you haven't taken the leap yet, or you're just about to, but haven't listened to past episodes, please go listen to episodes like 19, 30, 31, and 36, where I talk about the different ways you can use email marketing to grow your business. There's a lot of information there. So whether you're using email marketing to drive leads, nurture existing clients, or support your sales team, the one thing you have to do when someone first signs up is engage them. So if someone's new to your list and you want to keep them warm right after they sign up for your list, or if you meet them in person and you decide to add them to your list, you really don't want that first communication after the sign up or the meet and greet, exchanging of business cards to be a month after or even further than your event. You really want it to be within 24 hours. So I hear the panic rising. No, you do not have to do this manually. You do not have to add them and then all of a sudden send them an email right away. This is where artificial intelligence comes in, and it actually does all of that work for you. We actually did an episode on artificial intelligence and automation for marketing so that things like this can get done correctly and consistently without you having to do anything. That is episode 41. Let's talk a little bit about why it's important to keep them warm and engaged right after they signed up. With our clients, both e-commerce based and service based, we see that in their lists, when we look at the data, those that engaged early, they stay engaged as the months go by. They open, they click through the emails more than someone who didn't get engaged right away with an email. And this goes beyond, they sign up and it says thank you at the bottom and maybe get that confirm your humanity email right after they sign up for the double opt-in. Most people know that that's automation right away. No, what we're talking about here is a nice, warm, friendly, welcome email that feels like it is from a real person. And the importance of this is that you have to remember email is a long game. They may sign up today and they may not buy from you for 6 months or longer. Some industries are set up that way where they start doing their research well ahead of the buying process. And they may like you, but how are they going to remember you when it's actually time to pull out the checkbook, the credit card, the digital wallet? And that's where the email comes into play, but you got to keep them engaged. So I think this is going to be a fun way to see this from a different perspective. And let's think about what this would look like if it was an in-person engagement instead of signing up for an email list. So you're someplace network meeting, marketing meeting, lunch with friends, something like that. And you meet someone and you're like, hey, what do you do? They ask you the same thing. They're like, wow, I really love what you're doing there, your products, your service. I think I might want that. But they're not ready to buy just yet. Not today, not right now. What, in 6 months from now, after I buy my house or I do these things, I'm going to be ready to buy. I love to stay in touch. Like they actually say that. And you're like, that's great. How about I get your card, give me your information, and we'll keep in touch. I will keep in touch with you, right? You sincerely want to have an active engagement with them. They say that's great. They give you their information. You turn and walk away. And you don't follow up with a call. You don't send them an email, no text message, nothing for over a month. So when you do finally reach out to them, if you have the guts to reach out to them really, really late, how well do you think that's going to be received? Do you worry if they're even going to remember you? I've had conversations with people where they're like, oh, I went to this trade show and I had this great conversation, and they did the whole fishbowl thing. And then, of course, they took them out and they stacked them on the desk. And then 2 months later, the stack has dust on it and they didn't reach out to a person. They may look through it and go, oh, that was such a great conversation, but I'm afraid to reach out now because I have no excuse for not reaching out sooner. Even if you do reach out, they probably won't remember you. And if they do remember you, they're going to be like, oh, that person was supposed to reach out much sooner and they didn't. And they're going to feel a little abandoned. They're going to feel a little ignored. And they're not likely to re-engage with you because you kind of broke trust with them a little bit. And we know that trust is a big deal when you're building a new relationship. So that's scenario one. Now let's look at scenario number two. So you have that same engagement at the front. They hand you the card, and then the very next day you call them or you text them and you say, hey, it was so great meeting you last night. I'm really excited that we met and got to know each other. How about we schedule lunch in the next few weeks? Or, oh, I want to send you this great thing that we're putting together, but it's not going to be ready for another couple weeks. Can I send it to you then? A lot of great salespeople do this. They have little trigger systems in place for them to reach out and do this stuff. They're going to feel much differently about every time you send or reach out to them because you did that initial touch point in the beginning and then prep them for more going on. And this also greatly increases the likelihood that they're going to buy from you in the future because they're like, wow, they did follow up. They really care about me. They want my business. And so email marketing is really like a simulation of this engagement that I just outlined for you, whether it's in person, on the phone, or if they come to your website and they see that you have a high value download that they want and they sign up and then they get it. That's why you need to do a welcome email series right after that, because now you have them. Now you need to keep them and you need to keep them engaged. So now let's talk about what this looks like. What does an email series look like? What do I put in it? And I'm going to go through two types. I'm going to deep dive into e-commerce because that one's a little bit more complex, and then talk to you about how it can be edited and changed for service-based companies. So service folks, listen to the e-commerce stuff because it is going to be applicable for you, and I'll give you where the tweaks are. You get a lot more people opting in for communications with e-commerce because you get your buyers, you get your non-buyers. So your buyers are going to buy something and you have to get their email address for communications, and hopefully you have it set up so that the box is checked to hear from you again. And then if they're non-buyers, you should have something on your site asking them to sign up and become a part of your newsletter group. So because of this, you're really going to need two different welcome series. They're going to be similar, but the language that we're going to use, the imagery, all that stuff is going to be a little different. So each series is going to have 2 emails, maybe 3, depending on how often your newsletters go out. 1, if you're not sending newsletters, you really need to. All your emails should not be about your products and your services and asking people to buy, and people get buying fatigue. And so you need to offset that buying language and that buying content with educational, fun content that they can relate to, and more importantly, share. If they read a great article and it's not only applicable to them, but someone else in their family or friends, they're going to forward and share it, and that person may become a potential client as well. So this is where constantly selling is not always a good thing. So let's talk about the non-purchasing email series first. So email number 1 goes out within 24 hours of when they sign up. It welcomes them and gives them a little bit of a peek into what type of emails that they're going to get from you. Tell them about your newsletter. And if you have any special offers that you're giving just to your newsletter clients, let them know that. Reward them for opening the email saying, we're so glad that you joined. Here is a percentage off coupon, dollar off coupon, free shipping for your first order. When they open it and read that, this kind of primes them like, oh, if I open these emails, I actually might get something. And you're planting a seed there. Then for email number 2, that goes out within a week of sign up. So they sign up on a Monday, they get the first email on Tuesday, and then that following Monday or Tuesday, send them this second email. And what I like to do here is I like to send them a very popular blog article from your blog. If you're not doing a blog, you should be doing a blog. 1, the content is highly reusable. This is just one example of reusing something that's popular. And 2, a blog is where all your SEO juice comes from, right? This is where all that great search engine optimization ranking happens for long tail keywords and all that other good stuff. So if you need a simple strategy for search engine optimization, listen to episode 22. I walk you through it. It's something you can set up and keep doing, but do the blogs. So this email is really helpful to get them engaged, especially if whatever you're sending them, which if it's your most popular blog article, they're going to tend to want it because everybody else that's read it has liked it. They're going to open it, they're going to read it. And again, it gets them used to opening, looking at your emails. They see your name like, oh, this is something I want versus, oh, this is something I'm going to ignore, because we do create that habit when we see the name in our inbox. Ignore this. I never open those, so I'm just going to ignore it now. Or, oh, this one I always like. I'm going to always open this. We're going to tend to do what we form habits for. And then email number 3 is optional. You would create an email number 3 in the series if you're sending your newsletters once a month or less than once a month. I do recommend that you send a newsletter out every 2 weeks, right? That keeps people in a really nice rhythm. You're not bothering them, but it doesn't feel like so long in between that they forget why they're getting your emails. And every 2 weeks really reinforces that habit, because email 1 goes out right after they sign up. Then within a week, they get email number 2. And then after that, they're probably going to start getting into your email newsletter cycle and then building that click habit, that open habit. And so in this one, you can send them another article and then reiterate any other offering that you put in there, like free shipping, percentage off, anything. And then I throw a customer testimonial in there too, like saying, hey, our products or services have helped so many people. Just listen to what Beth had to say. You're listening to Inkyma's Marketing Strategies, and we're talking about Email Marketing Welcome Series. We're a certified partner with MailChimp, and the MailChimp systems automations make it super easy to set up a welcome series. If you're interested in trying MailChimp, there is a link in the show notes to sign up for your account. Because we are a partner with them, we get a small commission when you use our link. So think of it as buying us a cup of coffee for giving you all this awesome content to grow your business. We really appreciate you clicking through our link to sign up your MailChimp account. So that's your non-purchasers. Now let's talk about those that have purchased from you. Those folks you want to welcome as well. And then send them different series emails acknowledging the fact that they are now customers and not just potential customers. So purchaser email number 1, again, goes out within 24 hours of the purchase. Thank them for becoming a customer and welcome them inside your tribe, or whatever you call it, your family, your crew. Make sure you have that type of inclusive language in there, that they're a member now, that you're one of us, and make them feel special, right? This is really cool what you just joined. You have no idea. So let them know about the newsletter, and also let them know that if they have questions, concerns, they can reach out to you. Make sure you're accessible, but do it in a way that you're comfortable with. How do you like to be contacted? Telephone calls, emails? Do you like using chatbots? Whatever you like to do, that's what you include here for outreach, right? If you don't want to get telephone calls, don't give them a telephone number. People will reach out to you with what you give them. So now let's move on to purchasing email number 2. And this for timing is going to depend on what you sell and what you say. So if what you sell is a consumable, when you sell it and what you say about it is going to be different than if it's a non-consumable. So if it's a consumable like coffee or soap or something like that, use this second email as a refill reminder, and also ask them for a testimonial if they love the product. So depending on when that reminder is supposed to go out. So for like coffee, it may be a month. Soap, it might be a month or a month and a half. So gauge that depending on how long it really takes them to get to the point where they really need a refill. Don't send it out a week later knowing that there's 3 weeks left. People don't buy that far in advance. Again, ask for the testimonial. Ask them to reach out if they had an issue, but if they're happy and satisfied, give you a testimonial. Put a link to where you want the testimonial so that all they have to do is click on it and then write the review. Don't make them work too hard. So if you want it on Facebook, put your Facebook review link there. If you want it on Google, put your Google review link there. And then to get them to fulfill that refill, add a coupon of some sort or some type of free shipping incentive to prompt them for that second purchase. That second purchase is huge because now all of a sudden they've gone to one-time purchase to a reoccurring revenue customer. And then purchases 3, 4, and 5 are so much easier to get. And that recurring revenue is gold. That's how you build your foundation of stability, where you get people that come back every month or every 6 weeks to buy from you. And then you get new customers on top of them. If your product is not a consumable, then I would wait until after they've received the product and an acceptable time after that they've had the ability to use the product to send email number 2. Don't send it right on top of it. Gauge when that is. You're going to know when people use your product or they've had enough time to have an opinion about your product after they've received it and opened it. And then in there, ask them, did you like it? Did you not like it? Is there anything we can do? Do you have any questions? Same as above. And then add a coupon or free shipping to incentivize them to purchase something similar. You can list all the rest of your other product categories here. So like if they like the one, maybe they'd like to try something else next. So if you're doing outdoor gear and they bought shoes, maybe you want to show them socks. The second email is where you can get really sophisticated with this automation if you choose to, meaning depending on the category they purchased in, you send them an email that has a different category that's complementary. And then for purchasers, email number 3, again, is optional. It really depends on how often that newsletter goes out. Because after they buy and they've received it, you want them to get an email newsletter within a couple weeks of that to keep you top of mind. And then if you are an e-commerce type of store, or even with services, you want to put what your service offerings are and then click through buy buttons in there because they can shop in the email as opposed to just shopping on your website. So purchase versus non-purchase is not that hard to figure out when you're in a system like MailChimp or any of the other automation systems that will integrate with your e-commerce store. It's really purchase amount is equal to 0 for non-purchasers, and then purchase amount is equal to or greater than $1 for those that have purchased, or whatever your lowest dollar purchase amount is. If you sell really tiny stuff and it's 25 cents or 50 cents, then that's what you put in there. And these are just rules that you generate inside the journey automation areas so that it knows who to send what to whom and when. So now let's talk about service-based companies. And again, the series are pretty similar. You really only need to send out one email series to anybody that signs up for your newsletter, and you should really follow the non-purchaser because you're not going to know whether or not they are clients when they first join, because you may have clients that have been with you, they see that you have a newsletter, they sign up for the newsletter if they're not already on there. And so you don't want to try to talk to them differently. So email 1 is going to be welcome. We're glad you're here. Here's what to expect and how often. Email 2, send that out within a week. Again, the popular article from your blog, testimonials, and a call to action to reach out for more services or put the service blocks in there so they can see what you're offering very simply right from the email. Don't say check out our services with just a big button. Put some pictures and some descriptions inside the email. And then again, an optional third email if your newsletter goes out less than 1 time per month or even further, right? Another article, maybe some content from one of your social media posts that did really well, something evergreen. We had one client where we popped a meme in there that just did exceptionally well. But I do encourage you to try to email twice per month, definitely once a month. Don't go any longer than that. It's too much time between emails. So now that you understand the benefits and what needs to go in the email series, let's talk about what your next steps are so that you can start engaging your audience. So number one, most email systems will have some type of automation feature. I know for a fact that like Constant Contact, MailChimp, all the big guys, they have this. If you have a smaller, lesser known name, maybe no frills email system, or it's built into something else, and it doesn't offer this email automation where you can add multiple emails, then consider switching. A lot of people that have something like a Shopify where you can email inside of it still use a system like MailChimp, because MailChimp from an email perspective is much more robust. So one email is not going to cut it. You want at least 2 to 3 in the series. Once you decide, or if you have the right tool, learn how to use that tool. Get some education on how the automation feature works so that you set it up correctly. There's always YouTube videos out there. A lot of these companies like MailChimp, they have great tutorials online. All you do is you go and you look it up, and then they give you step by step. And like I said, there's a lot of people on YouTube out there educating you on step-by-step tutorials on how to do whatever inside the system. So utilize that. Then your next step is to set up your email series. Once you get it all set up, make sure you test it and that it's working correctly. If you can't tell, this is the voice of experience talking here. I have set up email automations and assumed that they were going to work. And then lo and behold, we come back a week later and they didn't fire. And then you go back there and you look at it and you figure out why something wasn't saved correctly. There was a tiny setting that was off, and then you miss a week's worth of data. And that's not a great feeling. So I don't want you to do that. And then in number 4, start monitoring it. After you set it up, watch it pretty closely in those first couple of weeks. 1, make sure that it's continuing to work even after you test. Things are going where they were supposed to. And then kind of look at your data a little bit. You're going to need to get at least 2 to 3 weeks out, maybe a little further, but see which emails are getting opened, which are not getting opened. And then think about, can you consider changing subjects to try to get more opens? And then if you're getting good opens, but not a lot of click-throughs into stuff, do you need new pictures? Do you need to make buttons bigger? So that's where looking at and monitoring your data is going to be really helpful when it comes to this. So here are my final thoughts for you. If you're doing email marketing, whether you've been doing it for years, you just started it, make sure you have welcome emails. Emails as in plural. Don't do just one. This greatly increases your chance of getting new customers to actually buy from you. So don't skip this step. Here at Inkyma, we like to give back to the business community. I provide a free 45-minute marketing consultation to any business owner, regardless if you're looking for a marketing company or not. Maybe you want to just talk about the language you're going to use in email number 3. Ask again about the benefits of having a blog. Whatever you need from a marketing perspective, those 45 minutes are yours. Just go to the website, inkyma.com, inkyma.com. And we have a schedule a marketing evaluation button. Just click on it, pick your date and time, and we are on the calendar together. Maybe you just have a quick question, fill out our contact form. It's on the bottom of every page. You put the question in and I will respond to you personally. If you found this episode's information helpful, useful, share this with other business owners. That is the purpose of this podcast, is to help all business owners grow and thrive. And we can only do that if we're sharing the knowledge and sharing the wealth. Thanks for listening and have an amazing day.